important thing we need to understand here, all these are different products at different sizes. So one bedroom here, Rivergreen 420 square feet, whereas for the 1 plus study, for Rivergreen is 452, but yet Promenade Peak is 527 square feet. And then for Rivergreen 2 bed 1 bath, it will be 527 square feet. So this is my 1 bath collection. Now we want to understand, right, what is the price that we should be paying in terms of the differences between every one of these. Okay, because all these have limited units. Sometimes maybe this one sell until left high floor. Should I go for this one or not? Okay, or does this one make more sense if I have low floor available? I think that is very, very important for us to understand. For example, let's start from the 1 bedroom and the 1 plus study. Okay, typically in the market, the price gap between the 1 bedroom and the 1 plus study is about 150,000 to 180,000. Since this is the case, right, if Rivergreen 1 plus study has very similar layout to the 1 bedroom over here, I will take a difference of 150,000. That means if the 1 plus study is more than 150,000 more expensive than Rivergreen 1 bedroom, I'll take the 1 bedroom. If the price gap is less than 150,000, I will take the 1 plus study. Okay, but in this case, right, the layout is also not totally similar. We can see 1 bedroom, right, it actually has a tuck-in kitchen, but the 1 plus study does not have a tuck-in kitchen. So how should we weigh the pricing, right? I went to do some research and I found out that maybe we should so-called between the difference of these two, right? I will deduct away 50,000 from Rivergreen because this one doesn't have a tuck-in kitchen, but it has one more study. So to put it this way, it will be 150,000 minus 50,000. So the price difference between these two units should be 100,000. Okay, this is to account for Rivergreen 1 plus study having one more study room but not having a tuck-in kitchen. So if the pricing is less than 100,000, I'll go for Rivergreen 1 plus study. If the pricing is more than 100,000, I will go for this one. And it also depends on the floor level. Moving on from this, right, what is the extra price that I should pay for a bigger 1 plus study, but this time around in Promenade Peak? To keep things simple, I've set 50,000 gap between the 1 plus study here and the 1 plus study here. You can choose to take your own figures, it's up to you to decide. But just for calculation purposes, I've decided to use 50,000 gap between these two units. So as mentioned, anything more than 50,000 gap, I will pick 1 plus study Rivergreen. Anything less than 50,000 gap, I will pick the Promenade Peak 1 plus study. And last one, the difference between 1 plus study and the 2 bed 1 bath. The typical price difference in the CCR market between 1 plus study and the 2 bed 1 bath, right, is around 200,000. But in this situation, as we mentioned, you know that the Rivergreen units are small. So instead of 200,000, I will be using 150,000 gap between the 2 bed 1 bath and the 1 plus study. So these are the few pricing that we should be looking at in terms of the price gap. Of course, if you don't agree with this, you can always set your own pricing in terms of what's the price difference between the different layouts. Over here, as I mentioned in the Rivergreen video as well, my favorite unit type among all these will be the 1 plus study. Why? Because typically, price difference between 1 bedroom and 1 plus study is 100,000 between these two. And the price difference between a 1 plus study and a 2 bed 1 bath normally is around 200,000. So here 100,000, here 200,000. Okay, this means that the price gap here is bigger. But in terms of the space, right, here can be quite similar to here as well. So normally what I've seen in the resale market, right, is that actually not all the cheap ones sell first in the resale market. It can be that people prefer this because they are already staying in town. They have to so-called accommodate by buying a smaller unit just to stay in town. So if I can get something slightly bigger, and yet the top up is small here compared to here, right, then this one will become the best seller among these three types. So in this regard, my Rivergreen 1 plus study will be my top choice. Even though it doesn't have a tuck-in kitchen, I've accounted a 50,000 deduction in terms of the price gap to account for this. So later on we look at the pricing to see if this makes sense. From here, right, don't be confused by all these tables. Okay, these tables are actually drawn from the tables here. Okay, let's say for example, Rivergreen lower floor blue color, mid floor purple color, top floor pink color, and then Promenade Peak low floor yellow color, mid floor pale orange, and the top floor orange color. So all these are actually mapped out, and I purposely never mapped out like for example Rivergreen 452, 452, 452, then Promenade Peak 527, 527, 527. I didn't map out this way because that will not be my flow of my purchase. So from this, right, my thinking towards here is that I will pick the best layout first, which is the Rivergreen 452 square feet. Then from here, I will gauge what is the price difference that I should pay between here and here, here and here, here and here. So that's how I actually do my mapping. From here, right, the best price Rivergreen 1 plus study will obviously be on the lower floors. So these start at a price of possibly 1.29 to 1.37 million for 2nd to 13th floor. Okay, and then when I check for the Rivergreen 1 bedroom, right, remember the price difference should be about 100,000. These two are quite similar. So for example, 10th floor of Rivergreen 1 plus study, 1.35 million, it will be around 100,000 difference between the same floor level Rivergreen 1 bedroom. So my choice, right, okay, when you see this chart, it will be like that.